Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. I'm Surbhi and this is Perspective 360 Degree, your one-stop solution for current affairs, descriptive writing and answer writing evaluation. If my audio is clear and the video is perfect, you can see me clearly, you can see the screen clearly, then kindly let me know in the chat section. Type a thumbs up, good evening, what time of the day you're watching it at. Okay, good evening, Sejal. Hello Sahej. Is the audio clear to both of you? Okay, all right. So, the topic for today is migration. First of all, can you see the screen behind me? All right, so all clear. The topic for today is migration, and the question that we have under discussion is why are they leaving India? So, whom are we talking about? Who is leaving India? And this is going to be a great value addition in your preparation for whatever exam you're preparing for, and will be inculcating a lot of data from the recent reports from the ministry, and we'll be talking about a lot of treaties that India is signing with other countries to tackle the issue of migration from India and into India. All right, also this is 52nd discussion of Perspective 360 degrees, so we are over 50 discussions already. So whosoever have been a part of this journey, like, kudos to all of you. Kindly, like, just continue studying with us, continue preparing with us, and you will see that yourself succeed one fine day. Okay, so let's proceed. um, Shubhas, they will be done very soon. uh, Sejal, just type it in the chat section. So see, let me just bring to your notice, whatever has been in news. Sejal, I'll come back to your uh, doubts here in a while. Today, let's begin with the topic. For right now, I'll come back to these doubts later. So, see, the Hindu covered that there is desperation in distress on migration attempts by Indians to the developed world. So, there have been attempts by Indians to move to or to migrate to the developed world, which have appeared from time to time. Excludable aliens, this was covered by The Wire, the complex landscape of modern migration. So, this topic covers migrations very intensively. Then, Hindustan Times has been covering a nation and its migrants. So, this is from January 5. So, you can see that migration has been in news in the past few days. Uh, Also, there was a movie of Shah Rukh Khan. It was known as Donkey or whatever way you call it. And it talked about the donkey route, which is a dangerous path to migrate to United States of America or to make successful or make the American dream come true. And that's all that we have been covering. A very important and interesting article was covered by the Times of India, the donkey puzzle, 1 week ago. They said that the writer said that India is the fastest growing economy of the world. Then why do we have one of the highest number of illegal immigrants? Okay, so talking about the relevance of this topic from your exam point of view, if you look at RBI Grade B, there is a topic in social structure in India in the ESI syllabus, which is called urbanization and migration. So today you're covering it. Again, for NABARD Grade A in the ESI section, you have urbanization and migration as a separate topic. And for SEBI Grade A, under the topic English writing skills, this topic is going to be of great relevance. Let's look at the expected question. See, I will be teaching you what migration is, what push and pull factors are, but this topic today is going to be from the current perspective. So the question that we are taking is describe the impacts of migration. This is going to be general. If you have covered your static portion, then you might be aware of impacts of migration, and explore the factors driving individuals to move from India to other nations. Answer for 600 words for 15 marks. And the second part is going to, be mind boggling. It's going to ask you what are the recent reasons. Okay, so first of uh, all right. So covering the answer blueprint, talking about the answer blueprint, this is the blueprint that EduTap toppers have followed and they have made it to the final list. This year we produced more than 144 selections for RBI Grade B, and similarly for NABARD Grade A, like a lot of selections. And all these toppers have relied on this answer blueprint, which is divided into introduction, main body, and conclusion. That is 3 parts. And now let's see what we'll write in the introduction. See, in the introduction, first of all, introduce some data with regards to migration in India or out of India. Also, you will be required to define migration. If you're defining migration, don't define it in your terms. Give the definition by International Organization of Migration. Even if you're not writing the definition, that is okay, but substantiate with a good variety of data, because regarding migration, we have data. Okay. So, general overview of migration would be given. In the body part 1, impacts of migration would be studied, and in the body part 2, reasons for international migration from India. Okay. Why do Indians move to other nations? And in the conclusion, we'll be providing with a summary of the answer and a way forward, what the government should do, what people should do, any change in behavior that is required. So talking about the introduction, first of all, what is migration? See, migration can be just movement of people from one place to another. It can be temporary or it can be permanent. Let's say you get selected for the respective exam you're preparing for, and you move from your current location to Mumbai. Let's say you're presently in Delhi and you move to Mumbai for that job that places you in Mumbai. So you start staying there, you settle a family there, you settle there. So basically you will be considered as a migrant who has moved from his homeland or his place of let's say residence, that is Delhi, to Mumbai. So that is migration, movement of people from one place to another. That can be for employment, that can be because of marriage also. After marriage, a lot of girls move to their in-laws houses or their husbands houses, and that is also a form of migration. And then there is another form of migration which is international. That is, if somebody moves out of the country, if somebody moves from India to USA for studies, for jobs, or for any other purposes, then that is considered international migration. So first of all, migration can be studied in two types: intranational and international. International can be regional, that you're moving within the same state. Let's say Maharashtra, it's a big state, so moving from one part of Maharashtra to the other. Then it can be sectoral, that is from rural area to an urban area. Then international migration has been constituted into two parts. One was before independence. It was mostly forced migration because of the labor movement. We were under the colonial rule of Britishers, and hence people from India, they were forced to move and work as like forced laborers in other countries. And after independence, why do you think international migration has taken up? Because we always feel that abroad or foreign countries have great things to offer to Indians, whether it's in terms of education, jobs, salaries, income, or just the living standards. So brain drain and labor migration both. Here labor migration can be like your unskilled and skilled labor both. It can constitute IT professionals also, and it can constitute basic manual labors also. Okay, so I hope the concept of migration is like a little clear to you. Again, I have taken some screenshots from Mrinal Pandey's article in The Wire. And she says that, when this movie Donkey was released, there was a flight which was grounded in France, and it caught like almost 303 Indians, which were mostly from Gujarat, and they were the people who were headed to Nicaragua. And what were they doing? They wanted to illegally enter United States of America. Many of them wanted to illegally enter United States of America because probably there was no legal route for them. And all of them, their documentation was checked. This was not a case of human trafficking. And this was here just back in December. So yes, illegal migration from India, that is also very rampant. People move to developed world or developed countries in search of a better life, better opportunities, better lives for their kids and for themselves. So that's an issue that is under consideration. If you look at migration at the global level, who looks after? What is the UN agency that looks after migration? It's called IOM, that is International Organization of Migration. And it also releases one report in 2 years which studies migration at a global level. It's called World Migration Report of 2022. And 18 December is celebrated as International Migrants Day. So some points for the objective part, you can use them in your answer. Now, let's talk about the introduction. In the introduction, first of all, define what migration is. So the International Organization for Migration defines migrant as any person who is moving or has moved across an international border or within a state away from his or her habitual place of residence. The second one is, if you look at data of migrants from India, so this is a data which is directly taken from Ministry of Home Affairs website. They say that in 2018, look at the number of people who gave up on Indian citizenship, who went to some other country and became citizens of their country. So it was 1,34,561 in 2018. 2018, and more than that was seen in 2019. In 2020, we saw a dip mostly because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And in 2021 and 2022, look at this, this has gone to around 2.25 lakhs in 2022. And for 2023, we still don't have the proper data for the entire year, but this is increasing every consecutive year. It's in fact doubling number of people who are giving up on Indian citizenship. That means they're migrants into other countries. So the number marked a sharp increase in comparison to the previous years. And there is another report which has declared that India has the highest number of international migrants in the world. That, if you talk about migration all over the globe, Indian people are the highest, Indian people hold the highest percentage in the number of migrants all over the globe. Also, there is a report by World Bank, which is known as the World Remittances Report. It has every year declared that India stands at rank 1 in like global remittances. What does it mean? It receives highest remittances from its diaspora abroad. So all the people who move abroad, obviously they send back money to their families, they send back donations, they send back gifts in the form of money. So India is the highest receiver of such remittances, and this is a report by World Bank, and here it is. India tops global remittances flows at $125 billion in 2023, World Bank has said. And this is not for the first time, it has been happening for the past 3-4 years. And again, there is some more data. International Migration Outlook 2023. This is the recent one. It has said OECD countries, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, these countries which are the most highest developed countries of the world, they have said that, so it's not Chinese, it's not Africans, it's Indians. So these are the data points that you can use to start your question on migration. Frame your own answer and post it in the comment section after watching this video. Now moving on to body part 1, excuse me, and studying about impacts of migration. Now, when human capital moves out of your country, obviously your country is at a loss because they cannot help in the development of the country. Right now you're preparing for, let's say, a very prestigious examination that will put you give you a government job. Let's say you decide, a talented individuals like you decide to move to another country. Then the intelligent minds whom they're serving the interest of other country, and it's a loss for the country which has left. But yes, you can benefit your own country by sending, let's say, remittances, as I discussed in the previous slide. So, impacts of migration can be both good also, bad also. And since this answer has to be ended in 600 words only, so we have to discuss the impacts of migration in like a very brief format. So what we'll do is we'll give some headings and we will discuss both sides of these headings in like the explanation itself. So economic growth, first of all, internal and international migrants. Here, first of all, we are talking about general impacts of migration. We are not talking about international or internal migration only. So both types of migration will be covered in this part of the answer. So these funds, which people actually, the money they earn, it is used for a variety of purposes: purchasing food, paying off debt, getting married, treating illnesses, educating kids, building homes, and more. So it benefits both the countries or both the places, the place from where they have moved and the place which is of destination. And on the other hand, if this migration is uncontrolled, then it can, for example, result in undesirable population density and overpopulation in urban areas, which is again not good for the economy. Then there are challenges and opportunities related to migration. What are the challenges? Strain on local resources or competition for jobs. This is a very, a very big problem. States like Haryana, Karnataka, Maharashtra have tried to bring reservation in private jobs for the people who have domiciles in their own states. So many attempts have been done by state governments, but they have not been successful. And because of this competition of jobs, xenophobia, that these are outsiders in our state. For example, in Punjab, if somebody is from let's say central India, that person might be considered as an outsider and not given an equal treatment. So xenophobia, that is fear of strangers or outsiders, that is very much prevalent in the country. So it also presents opportunities for growth and development if managed effectively through policies that address the needs of both migrants and locals. Now, taking the examples of Punjab and Haryana, these are agrarian states and these are very rich states. But agriculture in these states, it is not, carried out by domiciled people of Punjab and Haryana only. A lot of agricultural laborers from Bihar actually migrate to these states, and they earn their money on one hand, and on the other hand, they benefit these states in like maintaining their agrarian status. So there is one act, here we talked about that policy should be good by the government. So there is this act called Interstate Migrant Workmen Act of 1979, which deals with interstate migration. What should be the role of destination state in like, in giving equal opportunities and equal social benefits to the migrants. And if you know that your ration cards, one nation, one ration card policy was brought by the government a few years back to, tackle this issue of migration. Then there are social consequences. First of all, the good consequences that when people move to newer places, they develop openness, liberal ideas. Let's say a person moving to United States of America can see, that there are liberal ideas. People are very open about growth, about career shifts, about, concepts like marriage and concepts like equality. So yes, these ideas can be, they can trickle down back home. On the other hand, what can happen is that the families can become very dysfunctional because of loneliness and anonymity. People can get into, let's say, undesirable activities, because human beings, at the end of the day, we are social animals, we are social creatures, and we need that family bond. We need kinship, especially Asian communities. So this feeling of loneliness and anonymity is not good for the institution of family and for individuals' mental health also. So these issues are rising. Then demographic changes. What are the demographic changes? And these are very important here. See, when people from rural areas move to urban areas, first of all, the person who moves is the man of the house. The first person to migrate mostly is the man of the house, and left behind are the females of the house who are taking care of the domestic chores. They're taking care of children, and they're also carrying out farming activities. That's why this term feminization of agriculture has emerged, that women are now more participatory in agriculture because there is no other way out, because the men are out there in the cities or in other countries, and trying to make better income for their families. So development of rural areas also gets hampered by the loss of human resources. So that's the demographic change that we are seeing. Then there are environmental consequences, because destination places, whether it's some new country or a state where most of the people are migrating, there can be a lot of pollution and environmental degradation. For example, Delhi is one of the places which receives the highest number of migrants in your country. So Delhi and Mumbai, that is another city that receives a lot of migrants. So you must have heard about water scarcity, or air pollution in Delhi, or there is housing problem in Delhi, or crime in Delhi is very, very high. So the crime is a social consequence of migration or unplanned migration, but environmental consequences are pollution and environment degradation. So slums and unplanned settlements grow, and overexploitation of natural resources causes pollution and resource depletion. Then there is a cultural exchange, which is a positive factor related to migration. When people move to new place, they bring their traditions, languages, and customs. For example, if you look at food outlets in your country, there is Italian food served, there is Chinese food served, you see Korean, Japanese, American, every kind of cuisines can be found in India as of now, and this is a result of all the cultural exchanges that have occurred because of migration. And this cultural diversity, it enriches the local culture and creates a melting pot of traditions. So we learn from various cultures, the way they live, and all the good practices that can be learned. So this it creates a melting pot of traditions that you can keep the best ones with you, and you can then move ahead. Then there are global connections that can be formed. First of all, India has this language called English, which is spoken in most parts of the country, or at least people are urged to learn to talk in English. So this also creates a global connection with the world. It makes it makes easy for Indians to migrate easily, and migration connects different parts of the world. And families and communities, they maintain ties across borders, which contributing to a more interconnected global society. If you look at festivals, or if you look at for example, the festivals like Christmas, so they are gaining more popularity in the country despite of the small percentage of Christians that are present in the country. So that is because global connections and cultural exchanges, they are becoming stronger with time, and we are learning like Western traditions also, and we are learning Western values also, and there is an exchange that is taking place. The West is also learning values like things like practices of yoga and spirituality from India. So migration has all the positives and some negative things also, which we just discussed. Then there are reasons for international migration from India. Now these reasons can be discussed under four heads. First of all, this is part of your static syllabus, that migration reasons are always push factors or pull factors. Push factors means the reasons which push you out of your homeland, that probably there is lack of jobs in the place where you're staying. So that will be a push factor. A pull factor would be somebody in like some other city is trying to give you a job, or is providing you with education that provides you with a good placement opportunity or a job opportunity after education. Okay, so these are push and pull factors. But talking about why people are leaving India, there can be four reasons. The first one is economic reasons, and under economic reasons you can talk about unemployment after COVID-19 pandemic in India, or higher education opportunities. Education in Western countries, according to various reports, has been seen that it is much better. It is very much connected with the industry standards. Then there are more opportunities after education, job opportunities. Then financial concerns, including taxes. So many Indians move to other countries where tax rate is lower. For example, countries like Dubai or countries in the UAE. Or cities like Dubai and cities in other cities in the UAE, because of taxes being very low there. Then political reasons can be there. First of all, whenever somebody takes citizenship of some other country, she automatically loses the Indian citizenship. So they don't feel motivated to come back again, because they feel that they will have to go through the citizenship back again. So that results into permanent migration from our country. The second one is criminalization of politics and hence legislatures. A lot of MPs and MLAs have criminal cases pending against them. So the trust of people on the government, that has been affected with time. Then there is growing religious intolerance, specifically when you talk to people from minorities, they have raised this as a concern, and hence they feel that intolerance is rising in the country, and people from all religions, they are trying to leave the country and move to better areas. Then there are social reasons, growing rate of crime, safety of women and children. Women feel safer when they talk about Western countries. Western countries hold, they hold a good history of protecting women rights, at least in the past few decades. Then lifestyle factors like climate and pollution. The capital of your country faces like a lot of air pollution in these months. Then better healthcare for families and educational opportunities for children. When you move to many other countries, let's say in Europe, healthcare is free and education for children, that is free. It is provided by the government. So that's a motivation. Better social security and search for a better life. Then there could be personal reasons also. For example, many people move because of marriage or for marriage, and old people are migrating or giving up on Indian citizenships to reunite with their children who have now settled abroad. So these can be some of the reasons for international migration. We have studied them very, very briefly. Kindly explain or elaborate on them in your own viewpoint. Okay. Then what can be the conclusion or way forward? So this is the theme for this year's International Year of Migrants was Act Today, and this was the message from your UN Secretary Antonio Guterres. He said that on International Migrants Day, we highlight the urgent need for safe migration, governance rooted in solidarity, partnership, and respect for human rights. And the other thing is that there are some highlights from Ministry of External Affairs. There was a India European Union high level dialogue on migration and mobility. Then there was a cabinet approved migration and mobility agreement between India and Italy. So you can mention them, but understand the significance of all these meetings and agreements. The meetings and agreements are being carried out by our country with these developed countries, because India understands there are a lot of people who want to migrate out of India, and legal migration should be made easier for these people. Otherwise, illegal migration, the case that we saw in the beginning of this discussion, or that you might have seen in the movie Donkey, that will be very, very rampant. So when you have to give a way forward, always whenever you're talking about social issues part of your syllabus, refer to Sustainable Development Goals. So there are 11 out of 17 Sustainable Development Goals which talk about migration or mobility. And Sustainable Development Goal 10.7, it discusses that to facilitate orderly, safe, regular, and responsible migration and mobility of people, and a planned and well managed migration policy should be there. So you can refer to SDG target 10.7 to refer in your answer, either in the introduction or in the conclusion. So then just suggest that to mitigate or to address effects of migration, and we are talking about the negative impacts, inclusive policy should be prioritized for social integration and also for economic opportunities. Unemployment is very, very high in the country at this time, especially between the 15 to 24 age group. We discussed it in the last lecture, and hence if youth of the country continues to face unemployment, then obviously they're going to look for opportunities where they can move to better off countries. Then understand and mitigate push factors in India, and unemployment, lesser wages, or pollution, or lack of social security. These are the push factors, and by sustainable development these can be mitigated. And emphasize bilateral cooperation to manage migration so that illegal migration can be brought down, and focus on shared prosperity, education, job creation, ensuring a balanced and mutually beneficial global movement of people, as we saw in the previous this meeting and the agreement that we talked about between India and Italy. So that's all for today's discussion. I hope this has been beneficial for you. If there are any doubts, then kindly let me know in the chat section. Otherwise, you can book a strategy call with us at this number. Sejal, I see that there were a lot of doubts that you had, but I cannot provide you any feedback with the evaluation here. You can book a strategy call here with us, and you will get the proper answers to your queries here. If you have anything with regards to discussion, then kindly let me know here. All right, thank you, Pratul. Abhishek, the time will reduce with time. Hello, Rohit. No, Satyan, we are going to continue till the end of your preparation, till the end of your examination cycle. Sejal, you can write the same content, but make sure when you are, revising it for the second time, then you're not using the same content, okay? You should add to that content with time till the date of your examination. For like the answer that we'll be posting for this question right now, you can use the same or at least similar content. Try to summarize it in your words. Shribhas, they will be evaluated. Thank you, Veenu ma'am. Pratul, revision. At least 3 revisions of every topic, that are 3 revisions are required before the exam. Only then you will be able to remember and retain information. So I think that's all. I don't see any more doubts coming. So if you have any feedback, then let me know in the YouTube comment section after this video. And otherwise, you can mail us at hello@edutap.co.in. Thank you all of you, and all the very best for joining me. I'll see you with another discussion on Friday at 5 p.m. Post your answers before Friday 5 p.m. for timely evaluation.